Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Allie. I am a wife, mother, I work full-time. My little boy is 11 months now, and I know it's a little late to do a birth vlog, a birth video, but I wanted to get my story in, and so I would have it to remember. But he was born February 4th, 2017, and I do have video clips from when he was born. So I'll put those throughout as I tell my story. But I'm just going to get right into it, I guess. I started having contractions the night of the 2nd. So all throughout that night, I had back pain and I had strong contractions, and I logged them on my phone. I had a app that helped me keep track of them, but they were inconsistent. So I knew that I was not in true labor. I just started having the earliest parts of it. So the next day my husband went to work. I went out for lunch with his grandparents, and I started getting really strong contractions, like the ones you kind of have to breathe through. And so when I got home, I called him at work, and I couldn't get a hold of him actually. So another lady at his at the school he works at, I said, hey, can you tell Linda to come home? And she said, oh, are you having the baby? And I said, maybe. And so he said that he was walking back to his classroom and some kid was running down the hall, Mr. Ham, your wife's having a baby. So he ran home. I mean, it wasn't that dramatic, but they made it seem really dramatic to him. So he rushed home and we went to the hospital, and I had been about a centimeter dilated for like 6 weeks. I had been on bed rest, I had high blood pressure, and I had some spotting. And so at 37 weeks, I think, maybe 36, maybe 34, I don't know, I went on bed rest. And at this point I was almost 39 weeks. But he came home, we went to the hospital, and I was having contractions, but they were still inconsistent and they weren't close enough together for them. So they sent me home. But my mom had already come down. She lives about 3 hours away. She'd already come down, so we all went out to eat. My mom, my husband's mom, him and me. And so we went out to eat, and as we were eating, my contractions got stronger and stronger, and I said, we gotta go back. So at 10 p.m. we checked into the hospital on February 3rd. And at 10:30 I got put in my room. I have my notes here because I'm not going to remember everything. But at 10:30 I got put in the room. At 11:22 they checked me, and I was 4 centimeters dilated. So I was dilating more. I think I was 2 when I had come in earlier. So I had dilated at least 2 more centimeters. And then at 1:42 a.m. I was 6 centimeters dilated. But my contractions were very strong. So they were coming, they were still inconsistent, I believe, at this point, but they kept on coming. But we had a long night ahead of us. We waited and waited and waited and waited. husband was great. He was super nervous. I was super excited. We did have a miscarriage before this, and so we were super excited about our rainbow baby, and he had been perfectly healthy up until this point. So we were super excited to get him. At 2:15 a.m. they started my IV, because you know you gotta do the IV before you get the epidural, and I don't know how long it is. It's either 30 minutes to an hour. You have to get that IV in you before they can do the epidural. So if you don't have time to get that IV, then you can't get the epidural. But luckily I had plenty of time. So at 2:15 they did the IV, and then at 3:25 they did the epidural. And I thought it was gonna hurt, and it didn't. It didn't hurt. It was like the best thing ever. I was a little nerve-wracking because you can't see what they're doing, and you have to be in a certain position. And it was a little stressful because you're by yourself. Or at least my hospital didn't let anybody be in there. My husband couldn't be in there. It was just me and the anesthetician, however you say that word. But the epidural was my lifesaver. It helped my contractions ease off, because at this point they were getting pretty strong. And then at 4:15, an hour later after I got my epidural, I was 7 centimeters dilated. So I'm dilating, but it's just taking forever. Right.
Especially for your first one. Now next time, now that it's going to be stretched out, it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, this time, you don't need to be no bigger, that's for sure. All right.
All right, thank you.
I'm just going to draw a line.
Oh, well, that's a big thing to take.
His Uncle Jason couldn't go or something?
All right, there's nothing down here, and there's nothing at the top here. Okay?
Just on the side.
Yeah, just a...
And he was pretty much, I think 85% effaced at this point. So it's like she could feel his head the whole time when she was checking me, but I wasn't dilating enough for him to come out. So at 4:27, right after they checked me that time, they started Pitocin to get things moving along, because I'd been there all night long. And then at 8:43 in the morning on February 3rd, they broke my water, and that kind of sped things up. An hour later after that, at 9:53, I was 9 centimeters dilated. So I thought I would get to start pushing soon, because I only had 1 centimeter to go. And keep in mind, I had been there and been awake since, actually I'd been awake since most of the night before. So February 2nd, all night long I was awake. February 3rd, all night long I was awake. And it's February 4th in the morning. I'm exhausted. And I'm still waiting to be enough dilated. But the whole time I'm having contractions. I feel like he's coming. I feel like it's time. And it's just not happening. So we're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then finally at 2:11, they told me I could start pushing. And I will put this in. Right before this, they told me I was going to have a C-section, and I started bawling in the room. I did not want a C-section just because I had my heart set on getting the skin to skin right away. I didn't want them to bathe him. I just wanted him. I had waited for him for years, and I just wanted him. I wanted to get him. And they told me I was going to have a C-section because it wasn't progressing enough, and he wasn't far enough down or whatever. So I started crying, and they told me that I could try to push, but it probably wouldn't do any good. So at 2:11, they told me I could start pushing, and I pushed with all of my might. I pushed as hard as I could. I pushed as many times as I could. Every contraction, I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And he did come down. It took me almost 30 minutes. So at 2:11, I started pushing. At 2:45, he was born. He was 6 pounds, 10 ounces, 20 inches, perfect. The only problem was his umbilical cord was way too short, so I didn't even get him right away. He's stuck right here while they cut his umbilical cord. I don't know why it was so short, but it was, and he was stuck here. And so when they got the umbilical cord cut, then I got him up here and I got to have my, you know, my skin to skin. And while I'm holding him, my placenta, as I'm trying to deliver that, it breaks. So the doctor is the doctor actually had already stitched me up because I had, I think it's called a 2-degree tear. He snipped me 2 times because Ben's head was huge. It was so big. You'll see it in the clip. His head was huge. It's like a cone head because of how much, like, he was stuck in the canal so long because his head was too big to come out. So he had like a massive cone head for the longest time. And he did have to cut me to get him out. So he had already stitched me up and my placenta breaks. And so he has to like rip open my stitches and like he's this far in because my placenta he's trying to like scrape out. It was the most painful part of the labor. I could give birth all day long with that epidural, but that hurts so bad. So I'm trying to enjoy my skin to skin time with Ben, and the doctor has his arm all the way up there scraping, trying to get all my placenta out. And this whole time I'm losing blood, and I'm trying to talk because my husband's very nervous, and so I'm talking to him like nothing's going on because I hear the doctor say, give her the shot, she's losing too much blood, give her the shot. And I didn't want him to freak out about me losing too much blood. So I was already anemic before I had Ben, and so me losing a lot of blood was an issue. But they gave me some kind of shot, I don't know what it is, but some kind of shot to make it better, I guess, make the blood not come out so much. I don't know what it is, but they gave me a shot and that helped. And then I don't remember much. After he stitched me up again, I guess, I did breastfeed, I remember that, but then after that, I don't know, I was so tired, I had lost a lot of blood, so I fell asleep, and Ben slept on me, so I did get skin to skin time, I just didn't get to experience it. So we bonded. I just was asleep for most of it, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I got to get my skin to skin time. I got to see him first. Well, Landon saw him first, my husband, and then I got to see him, and it was the most wonderful thing. I would do it a million times over. It's really not that bad, especially if you get the epidural. I'm all for the epidural, but I loved it. I did have some issues for like a week after. I was super tired. It took a week for my blood levels to go up 1 point. And I don't know what they're supposed to be. I think mine were at a 6 when he was born, and I think they're supposed to be at a 12, and it went up to a 7 a week later. And they talked about giving me a blood transfusion, but I did iron supplements, and that helped enough to get it up enough. So it was a great experience. I loved it. I'm ready for baby number 2. My husband's not, but hopefully soon we'll get to, you know, do another go around. But I'm so excited for Ben to be turning 1. He'll be 1 on February 4th, 2018, and we are gonna do a birthday vlog. So I'll link our vlog channel below if you want to check that out and see some videos of Ben running around the house and just being good old Ben. He is the best thing. I'm so happy we got him. He is our rainbow baby. He is our sweet, sweet Henri boy, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Give it a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. And if you would subscribe, I would love it. I would love for you to be part of our YouTube family. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.